Welcome to Rejected or Selected, a podcast where we talk about job search woes, hiring horrors, and everything fair and unfair in and around our work lives.
Well, welcome, folks, to another big episode of Rejected or Selected. Deany, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm happy that we finally made it on, Simon. Thank you so much.
I am too. If you're listening on a Friday morning and this is in your podcast stream, well, you're probably stress-free and relaxed, not having to endure the last 5 minutes of technical difficulties that we experienced. We're bringing our guest on, and I am so sorry that we've had to experience so much technical difficulty in only 5 minutes of our lives. But hey, it's all fixed now. We're fine. It's an episode of Rejected or Selected, and we're all here. Now, If you listen to the last episode, you probably recognize the theme. We talked a lot about AI, and we had a very positive discussion about AI. Very different to what we usually talk about. However, with a lot of companies scrambling to get AI platforms up and running and integrated in their organizations, there isn't a lot of people talking. There's not enough talk, about the behavior of people and the impact on that behavior at an organizational level. That is until our guest, Amy Chokchai, joins us tonight to discuss her experience and her research and the fact that she is a doctoral candidate researching just that. How are you, Amy? And thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm very, very passionate about the topic, and I'm very proud that we got through the technical difficulties. I'm sorry.
We'll get there eventually, right? We're there now, so that's good.
Proud of Simon for figuring it out, because it wasn't you, Amy. Let me just make it clear.
Most condescending clap I've ever experienced in my life. Thanks,
No,
I'm
just... Thank you.
You just had to do a little action too, didn't you? Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. No, Amy, in all seriousness, we really appreciate you joining us tonight and coming on our little podcast to discuss something that you are doing a lot of deep research into. But to go back and give the audience a bit more of an idea about who Amy is, Amy's a cybersecurity lecturer at South Metropolitan TAFE here in Western Australia, and she's been in and around the cybersecurity world for quite a while now. Amy, talk to us a bit about what made cybersecurity, because you've had a career before, by the way. What made cybersecurity something that stuck with you?
I discovered cybersecurity during COVID. Sorry, my bad. During COVID, a lot of people, going through difficulties during that period with regards to jobs and so on and so forth. And said, I was selling houses at the time, and being COVID, it was quite difficult, with the whole managing and so on. And I think I need to find something else that I can try to do online, so I don't need to be with people as such. So that's where it all started. And I did an extensive research on what I might like, and cybersecurity appealed to me. And that's how I decided to do a course. So I completed a course with UWA, if that's okay to say. And then I went on to do my master's at ECU. I've completed that. And now I'm at Murdoch doing my doctorate. So for me, cybersecurity, the more I learn, the more I'm passionate about, because I think there's a huge gap of knowledge in the society. A lot of people still don't really know what cybersecurity is. And when you're trying to explain to them, and they're like, oh, like the scam? I'm like, yes, kind of like that. Yeah. Is it has to do with the phone line? I'm like, yes, all of that, yes. So yeah, it's still a lot of lack of knowledge, I reckon. Yeah.
You're right. There is still a lot of lack of knowledge. I couldn't tell you the amount of times I still have to repeat messages that we were giving to people before, even pre-COVID, around that. So yeah, look, it's A really interesting trajectory. You've done a course, you studied at UWA, did your master's at ECU. Now you're doing your PhD at Murdoch University. So tell us more about what made you decide this was going to be your focus for your doctorate?
Well, when you're trying to find a research topic, it's quite straightforward. So you identify a problem. And what is the bigger problem we have now in the world than AI? Right. So I was gonna focus on data governance or data management, which trying to protect people personal information, so the organizational data and so on and so forth. The more I do in-depth research of how do we deal with this kind of stuff and what vulnerabilities that we are exposed to, AI appeals to me because it's such a commonly used tool and it is a very invasive, if I would use that word. It's
Uh-huh.
everywhere. It's in your phone. It's everywhere. So, and you can't not be part of that now. You could be driving on the road and you'll get detected by AI. And that's just what it is now. So
Mm.
yeah, that's where I kind of landed my research topic. Thank you.
And specifically, so say you were at a dinner party, right? And someone said, "So Amy, tell me about your doctorate." How would you explain it to them? Because I know,
Oh,
AI, as you just explained, is such a huge topic. It's pervasive. It's in everything we do. What is your main focus for your doctorate?
my main focus is basically how people use AI. I want to learn how people use AI to identify the way that we can protect ourselves from using AI. So my ultimate goal of my research is not to put people off from AI. We should embrace AI. That's what I'm saying. But we should also be aware of what could, lead us to, lose of data or, or the, um, could be even more severe in some cases if you're using AI within the organization and you
Mm.
could be prompting something or someone prompting something and it's could just take the whole system down easily. It could easily do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking in our last episode, Amy. You might have heard it because you were a guest, you were an audience member. So we talked about how, any tech, we always have to, we can embrace it, but also be cautious, just like you explained around AI. Is there more caution though now because we've got this really, I guess, super, technical ability to do things that we couldn't do previously? Does that mean there's more caution attached to AI, or should we just have the same messaging? Educate people about it, learn how to use it safely and securely, and that's it.
Um, I think being cautious is a very key thing, and thank you for addressing it. A lot of people tend to, regardless whether it is AI or some other things that people are using, if you cutting fruit and vegetables, you need to be cautious about how you hold your knife. Everything that we use, actually, we need to be cautious of it, and understand enough about the actual tool that you'll be using. AI, however, because they are technical tools and they could have a hidden danger that people may not be aware of. And even I had a discussions with one of the ladies at our breakfast about this, and she is an educator, and we've discussed how AI cybersecurity is not a thing that we're teaching yet in Australia, which should have been incorporated into our curriculum at any level. Um, and I haven't seen it yet. And I
Why do you
think that
think that
should
is? Is it because of the lack of expertise or
I
we
don't
don't
think we
actually.
lack of expertise. We've got a lot of expertise that can create AI. AI are not difficult to be created. So we have enough people to educate us and or the students. I'm sorry, and I think the design of the curriculum themselves. I haven't seen a lot of them around. I've seen some from the US, which I haven't really explored. Yeah, I think it could have been incorporated into more of the an ongoing training from at any level. So we have a better understanding of what it is that we're dealing with. We understand now that computers are part of everyday life. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. But I think I want to go back a few years to the beginning of 2022. I'm not sure if either of you remember this, but the very, very beginning of that year, before the academic school that I'm talking about, secondary and primary school year, went back, the Department of Education here in Western Australia put out an announcement, and there was a blanket ban on ChatGPT
Yes.
specifically and any
Yep.
other AI platforms in the classroom. Do you think that was short-sighted then, or should they have actually done more around the education of these platforms before making a decision like that?
I don't think that was a short-sighted decision. I think that was just, I guess we're dealing with things as we go along, right? And we never know what's going to happen. But I believe now any educational organizations are encourage the students to act like myself and TAFE, we know. We encourage students to use AI. But how do they use AI? That's the thing. We need to tell them how to use AI appropriately. AI hallucinate, AI give you in incorrect outputs often. So would you blindly believe in the outputs of AI? You can see in some assessment, you still see some of those. But um, the dialogue that we should be having is not to use AI. The dialogue should be, how should we use AI to maximize productivity, or how to create better jobs, or whatever that's gonna be. That's what
Well, I
I
think
think.
more specifically for yourself as a lecturer at TAFE, how has using and integrating AI platforms, how has that changed the way you assess the students?
I can see. Well, I've started with TAFEs around about the time the ChatGPT came out. So right after ChatGPT came out, that's where But at the time, not many students were using it yet. Okay, but gradually we started to educate the student to use them to do whatever they need to do, but not to cut and paste the answers into the assessments. Um, but over time, you can kind of see the student using that correctly. They get a lot more sophisticated answers, even though they answer it in their own words. And you still see some of the students that kind of cut and paste, which you didn't know, and then you notify them, hey, this is not right. But you can kind of see that the level of knowledge, it's get a lot more in depth, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you say the cut and paste thing. I had a conversation with a colleague a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about AI, and he actually is in the tech side of the company. And we're quite forward leaning with AI at the place I work because, just realistically, it's here. It can help productivity, can help with efficiencies, and it's not going to go away. So
Exactly. Yes.
pragmatically,
Exactly.
we've decided, okay, let's embrace it. But it's funny because yes, we like using it, but we're very cognizant of one, it still hallucinates. Secondly, maybe what it spits out isn't exactly what we want, so we still have to kind of shape it a lot. It's still work. It's still a lot of work and a lot of thinking. Um, But I guess because we've been doing our jobs and we're experienced in it, and so we can spot, information that's probably not quite right, or, things that don't make sense. When it comes to students though, or people who are junior in a company, what kind of things can help them identify that if they don't have the experience of seeing a good piece of writing, product, whatever it is, brief, and being able to compare that from previous knowledge with what the AI gives you? Like, how can we help them?
And no, thank you for saying that. I think that's very important. We don't need, what I'm saying here is we don't want to rely on AI totally for outputs. If we don't have the right understanding, how would we know that the outputs are correct, like what you were saying?
Yeah.
And that's really difficult to verify as well. And that's one of the dangers that we encounter on the regular basis. I mean, I will be speaking to a colleague at work and they jump on their phone and give me the answer. I'm like, did you check? Like, you just got AI to answer your question and then you gave that answer to me. Did you even check where the AI got it from? But yes, education is super important. I know when people said, why do we need to learn when we already have the tool that we can use? Why do we need to calculate? Why do we need to learn to calculate? Why do we need to know that 1 + 1 = 2? Right? Even though we have now calculation or calculator, right? So, but if we don't have that understanding to begin with, or the correct understanding to begin with of how certain functions of that mathematical equation works, how do we know that it's going to be correct? So it's kind of like a challenge chicken and egg sort of situation. Where do we really need to know, or do we just rely on this? But I think, especially now, the technology, as you also mentioned previously, the technology will become a lot better over time, as we can see. Maybe in a few years from now, we can see that the accuracy of the outputs will be higher, and the model could be developed to use more specific data to output more accurate results, and so on and so forth. But it still requires human justification to say, hey, this is correct or incorrect. Even though in the design of the AI themselves, I did a little paper on this. I haven't completely been published or anything, but so basically how AI developers evolve their design over time. So at the very early stage of AI development, AI were created with the human behavior in mind. So they're trying to make AI behave like human. And so they're trying to decide the word that gonna use, or how human can interact with them, and so on and so forth. And at the time, this is going back a very long time ago, like in the 70s and 80s. AI has been around for a long time, but we haven't really experienced it in the way that we can do it now. Doesn't mean it hasn't been there for a long time. But only recently that we are able to interact with them. And I think what the developer of AIs have changed is to, instead of making the machine behave like human, now they try to customize the usage of AI into what it needs to be doing, if that makes sense. So let's say if they're creating an AI, and if you know about the algorithm, each of the algorithms in the AI are quite different as well. Whether that's going to be used to predict something, or whether that's going to be used to summarize statistics for you, or whether that to be used to come up with a new formula, like for scientific research, and so on and so forth. So each of the algorithm behind the AI models have different characteristics. And so if we're going to look at AI and, hey, this is this AI, I'm going to use it for 10 million things, obviously they're not going to be effective. So the AI nowadays are specifically, I think the way the developers are making them are specifically designed for certain tasks, if that makes sense.
That
Yeah,
does.
makes complete
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. We
Yeah.
can see the ones that do great videos versus the ones that do great rendering or,
Yes.
you know, content versus,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't know, coding. Yeah.
Yes. So there will be
Speaking
AI
about,
specifically for video content or specifically for statistic, or we specifically used for certain particular purposes. Data gathering, for example. Yeah.
yeah. So speaking about all these the amazing things that the outputs we can get from AI platforms and the tasks that these platforms and these agents can do for us on a day-to-day basis, what evidence, or I guess, is there anything out there in broader literature or that you've come across in your studies so far that indicates any kind of cognitive decline alongside having these tasks being kind of seamlessly done for us?
I haven't really studied the human side, to be honest with you. Most of my research so far has been more about the design of AI. So I guess if we would just guess at this point that if you're using a tool that can assist you for a long time, and then you need to do that manual task yourself, calculation, for example.
Mm.
If you need to do multiplies whatever every often, then you have the ability to do it. If you use calculator for the whole time, and then when you need to do just a simple calculation, like, I don't know, 5 times 7, it could become difficult for people who haven't done any calculation in their own head. So they need to search for a calculator. And I think that probably works the same way. If we ended up using AI for everything, then we're going to use that set of skills that required to do certain job, even though AI going to be there for a long time. Which is great. That's what we want. AI can really boost, productivity. This is the statistic from the Australian government, by the way. I'm not making it up.
Okay.
We have seen increase in productivity, and we have seen more efficient way of managing the organizations and supply chains and so on for many organizations, so they can actually help the organization to work more effectively, create more work, more profits, and so on and so forth. However, because it's such a new area, we haven't really seen how it impacts human behavior and our cognitive ability yet. And I believe we won't see that until we do the assessment 10 or maybe 15 or 20 years from now, because this is so new. We only
Being
into
said,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off. That being
Yeah.
said, we don't have the understanding yet or any evidence that has pointed to how human behavior has changed. Do you, Amy, as this being your, the whole centerpiece of your doctorate, do you have any assumptions that you could make today about how this will impact human behavior, especially in organizations?
Yeah. Or even the hypotheses that you'd like to kind of prove or disprove as part of your doctorate, right?
Yes. My hypothesis doesn't structure that way, but that's okay. I think it's definitely gonna impact. We can already see, if you don't mind me steering our interest to social media, for example.
Go ahead.
We've seen in some research that the younger generation that using social media, and the new technology that we didn't have, in the 90s, it shortened their attention span, and they don't have the ability to spend time
Focus.
to do something for a long time, like focus. You're right. So that's already changing. So if the attention span, I'm just pulling numbers out from thin air. This is not a proven number. I'm not getting it from any papers. So let's say if the attention span used to be a minute and now it's down to about 30 seconds. I think AI gonna make it even shorter because
Length
we're
of a
not gonna
reel.
bother spending time to go and find out whether that's the accurate output. I can kind of see a lot of people doing that already. Yep.
Yeah. It's already changed the way we appreciate certain forms of art, for example.
Yes.
I know there's been lots of articles that have been written lately, and Netflix has even said it themselves. They tailor their content, their TV shows and their movies more towards an audience that isn't 100% engaged in what's actually happening on the screen in front of them. So a lot of people's viewing habits these days are they are on their phones or they are doing something on a device while something
While
is
they're
playing in the
watching. Yes.
background.
Yes.
So that's
Yep.
why the content of our art, cinema, television, drama, that's all kind of changing because of the advent of social media. So what you're saying is going to ring true for AI. When you say you've gone from a minute to 30 seconds to maybe shorter, that's not so far-fetched considering where we've come in about 20 years of scaled social media globally.
Yes. I also, our attention span, let's touch on that a little bit. I was doing a test on 3 different social media platforms. So I started a channel, put the videos, a lot of videos up and see how the audience interact to my videos on each platforms. And one of the platform has a very strict sort of algorithm where if the audience doesn't get through the first 3 seconds, you're out.
3
No, really.
seconds.
So it's like if you can catch the attention of the audience longer than 3 to 8 seconds, you have the chance of, being promoted to the next group of audience. But if it doesn't capture the attention of the audience for even 3 or 8 seconds, there's no hope for that video. They're using a very highly strict algorithm behind it, which is kind of crazy. But if social media or the media platform that you're using has certain algorithm that determine the audience interaction, then people might need to consider that into it. But yeah, so attention span, it's super, as I said, 3 to 8 seconds. So if they don't catch it, then it's pretty dangerous.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. I think of how long 3 to 8 seconds actually is. It's me, that's micro. That's nothing, right? But for a generation who's been brought up with social media and with instant media and on demand and being able to do so much with tech that we could only dream of as kids, it's obviously you can see it. You can see that that's definitely a long space of time for them. I want to bring you back to I do note that when you did your master's in cybersecurity, I'm not going to talk much about cybersecurity because we are here to talk about your doctoral candidacy and what you're researching. But I do note that you took the governance, risk, and compliance route when you were at ECU. So that governance, risk, compliance, for those of you not in cybersecurity, GRC is the acronym we use for that. So having that GRC lens that you've kind of sharpened over the years, particularly something that you would use day to day in your teaching, how has that kind of guided and, I guess, impacted on the way you're approaching this doctorate?
Heavily.
If it has at all.
No, heavily. Well, basically what I'm trying to accomplish is we're trying to find a framework that can help organization to adopt and use within the organization to prevent people from sort of misbehave. It's a strong word, but hey, misbehave with AI.
It's misbehaving, it's hallucinating, it's gone nuts.
So yeah, we want to make sure
Shadowing.
that there is a framework for organization that can use or let people know of how to be mindful about using AI. That's basically my goal.
There you go.
Okay. And like what would be the key tenets of that framework, if you don't mind sharing like an initial idea?
Well, we need to know how people use them very first thing. So how people interact with AI, or what kind of data are they sharing? Do they know that the AI has vulnerabilities? Or is there any existing framework that being implemented to begin with? So it needs to go into the cybersecurity or security policy framework will be under that, I reckon. But AI specific, that's what I can kind of see.
Wow. I'm going to give
Sorry, am I
you
answering your question? So you look really puzzled right now.
No.
I'm not
It's
answering your.
I'm no. You are answering my question. It's made me ponder about how we're in the company that I work for. Yeah, we've basically kind of brought in AI, made clear. It was very clear to us that we needed to have a clear policy on how AI can be used internally in the business, and really kind of making everyone understand and commit to data protection, in the sense that, understanding what is sensitive data to begin with. Like, because some people, you can assume, oh yeah, the staff knows what sensitive data is, but that's not always the case, right? And
Yes.
not all of our employees have a cyber or even a security background. So what would be sensitive to me may not even, like, someone in accounting may not even think that that's a sensitive
Consider,
thing, because they
yes.
deal with it every day, right?
Yeah.
Or someone in sales, oh, of course I need to know this because this will help me sell something else, but it's not necessarily the case. And a lot of the time it isn't the case. So
Yes.
we decided to get ahead of it by, yes, we need a clear policy. We need to actually define what is sensitive versus what is not sensitive. And what does it mean when you say, okay, you can use AI? No, you can use AI that's been approved and is managed by the company, as opposed to you can use any AI, like you can use your whatever ChatGPT at home or whatnot. That's not allowed. So having clear guidance is I guess one of the steps that we've chosen. And
Can I interject for a second there,
yeah,
though? Like anything, clear guidance and policies are only as good as the paper that they're written on or the screen.
yeah,
So what's
100%.
going to stop somebody in an organization from who's got a clear policy? ChatGPT is our approved platform, and they're basically going into Claude to do all of their work.
Yeah, that's hard because that's trust, right? That's like, what's going to stop someone from embezzling money if they have, it's
You think people wouldn't because of morals, right?
they wouldn't. Well, not only morals, there's
I don't
laws.
want to
There's
face shadow
yeah,
IT
you can go
with
to jail for
embezzling
that.
money, though.
Yes, you can go to jail for. I mean, but to a lesser extent, like, it goes back to hiring as well. Like, what kind of people are you hiring? Which is, again, it's a hard thing, but I think if people talk about it regularly enough and they can see that everyone else takes it seriously, then it's a cultural thing. You need to build it in. There's no easy answer for it, because ultimately you cannot control what your staff are doing, and
Correct.
there is a level of trust that you're operating on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. So I mean, like for my research as well, and the type of framework or thing that we're trying to create, it would need to be a mix between technical and the human.
Yeah.
So there would be some element of technical controls that need to have to protect human from being able to do something, which obviously people who have already used AI and not being able to use AI the same way, they're going to get frustrated at the beginning, which is okay. That's not my problem, I think. So we also going to be looking at some of the technical to prevent, but I can't say that it's going to help people to prevent everything, because in cybersecurity, there's no guarantee, as we all know. We
Yeah.
try to do our best, right? And that's all we can do. But yeah, I think we need
100%.
to put in some of the technical mechanism to actually prevent people from being able to do certain tasks
Yes.
on AI as well.
100%. I'm right there with you. It's like with anything. You do need those technical controls in place as much as you want to think that people can act responsibly without those controls in place. Unfortunately, we know people. So shadow IT is a thing, even though there are some instances where it's okay, I guess, if it's a means to an end, if you're not going to break the system. But again, these policies are in place for a reason. Controls need to be put in place for a reason. I'm going to
Yes.
give you
And
an opportunity. I'm going to give you an opportunity to plug a book that you were a contributing author for. I believe it is I've got it in front of me and I just lost it. The Curriculum Revolution, Shaping Future Skills for an AI-driven Workforce.
yes.
Fantastic. I've read your little contribution to that too. Well, I shouldn't say little, that's diminutive. Very, very highly, very good quality work. I can't English today. Very good quality work there in your contribution to this particular book.
Thank
But
you.
it's been a long day, as you can all tell. I really want to get an idea, and for our audience as well, what does education need to stop doing when it comes to AI, and what should they start doing?
I think in terms of education, as I said, I think I like to think of it as a change of dialogue. When we talk to people, when we tell them something like, let's say, don't use AI, for example. Like AI has so much, potential. It can definitely help with a lot of things, right? I think not to shut off the, like what you were saying when the education um department, I'm not entirely sure what you mentioned that before, that back during COVID when they banned AI, I think so doing that was, I don't think they did it with that intention, but because they didn't know how to deal with it, so they shut it off completely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess it's a change of dialogue now, where now we know AI gonna need to be adopted in any form of work. Whether that gonna be script writers using a lot of AI at this point, probably more so than writing themselves. But that's great because that helped to increase the productivity. And in fact, AI, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that I recommend people to use AI in media production, which that still go against a lot of people moral. And for me, yes, if you're gonna look at it from the perspective where it's not something that I created, yes, it's not something that you fully created, but look at things like, do you like Avatar? Do you like movie that human cannot possibly physically make them? You know what I mean? It is an extension of our
Yeah.
creativity. That's what I see. So I know we want to preserve in that chapter. Thank you, Simon. In that chapter, I said a lot about creative originality, which is the most important aspects of being an artist. And I am considering myself an artist. So I don't want to lose that creative originality. And we don't need to. If we're using AI, as I said in the chapter, as a brush. So if you're using AI as a brush, it is an extension of you. It doesn't take over you.
That's great. That's a really good way of putting it. And I think it's funny you mentioned media and the creative side, because we've got a bit of a connection. You and I used to teach media studies, and I believe you've done the same as well, Amy. So we can obviously have that
A little bit.
appreciation for
Yes.
cinema as an art. Well, it's
Yes.
a little bit or whatever. You still taught media, right? So there's an appreciation for cinema as an art form.
Yes, definitely.
Where's it heading? A lot of purists would like to say, yuck, gross. I think taking away the human eye from media content, especially cinema, is wrong. But again, and not to advocate for that, just saying, let's wait and see what's actually going to get produced. And if it actually does scale, I don't feel that AI would be able to replicate and take over the cinema industry, although I could be completely wrong.
It's like
I
what?
think, sorry.
I was just going to respond to Simon's thing about the use of AI in art, right? Now we're beginning to see so much AI generated content, and you know, there's the AI slop that we like to rant about, Simon. But you know what that's done is we're able to recognize slop, right? We're able to recognize AI created things that are just samey. They're the same, nothing new. It looks cool, but it's just similar to the last one that got created. But then when someone creative comes around and uses AI, it's just like, whoa, okay, mind blowing, So I think I agree with Amy. It's a tool. It can help push that creativity and realize ideas that were not possible, such as creating a widget, by Simon. That probably wasn't possible.
As a throwback, it's a callback, people. So yeah, look, it's an extension. It's your brush. You're 100% correct. And I guess when you do actually, you're right. I've seen real creatives utilize AI tools to enhance what they can already do, which is fantastic stuff. It's great. We are getting to the tail end of the show now, Amy. Now, with all our guests
That's
and
fast.
even Deany and I sit through this, you have to endure our rapid fire, this or that questions. I'm very sorry for this. Did you want to do yours and go first, Deany?
Mine is a question. Most overused word in AI that you've come across?
Oh, most overused words in AI.
When people talk about AI or AI conversation.
Hallucinate, I think. Because people, when they don't get the output that they wanted, they said the AI hallucinate. And I'm like, how do you know that your input was good enough in the first place? Sorry.
It's good. I like that. Thank you.
I'm guilty of that. I always say,
Yes,
hallucination.
really quick one, Amy. Really, really quick one. ChatGPT or Claude?
Oh, I haven't personally used Claude, but I'm now believing that according to the statistic that I've been accumulating, I would go with Claude.
Okay, teaching or research? If you had one that you could choose to focus on for the rest of your life, make that for the next 5 years, would you rather teach or do research only?
Oh, that's hard. Wait, teaching is so much fun. And research is giving you new knowledge. This is challenging. What a question. Thank you. Right.
Good question, Amy. You get your students to do the research for you. There you go.
That's different.
I will still need to go with teaching.
Nice.
Thank you.
Like
see, lucky.
Okay.
Those students are going to be like crying if you said research.
Oh.
All right, Amy. Ban shadow AI or embrace it with some guardrails?
Embrace it. Yes.
With guardrails, like
obviously.
Simon,
Yes,
with guardrails.
Little caveat there. With guardrails.
Yes, definitely.
Fantastic.
I'm one of those people that sort of like risks. Staying in a safe place all the time is not good, I don't think.
True.
Because then you're not growing.
Comfort zone.
Being pragmatic, Amy, which is a good thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Because, like, honestly, you can't expect everyone to 100% not use alternative methods to do their work, right? So you might as well give them the tools to help them minimize the risk, whatever those risks might be.
100%. Amy, Chokchai, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Rejected or Selected. We really appreciate a lot of your candid responses as well. All the best for the rest of your PhD as well. We'll definitely need to keep in touch and see how things are tracking for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No
Thank you.
worries. Okay, well, and to our lovely audience, we will be around next fortnight for another jam-packed episode of Rejected or Selected. Thank you very much, Deany, as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you for having me again.
If you joined in for the live stream, awesome stuff. Thank you for joining us. There were some hiccups. We do apologize. We'll get
As
it right.
always. Is this going to be a recurring thing? God, now
don't
Amy's
know.
part of it. We've just dragged her into this mess of tech difficulties.
Well,
Can I just
everybody.
yell out some really quick thing?
Yes.
So
Yes,
as
go
I said,
ahead.
we're doing
Sorry.
research. So we need
Yes.
a lot of people and organizations. Specifically, if anyone want to be part of our research, I would really, really appreciate that. We want to make the best policy, obviously, but we need data. We need to know what people are doing in organizations. So if anyone would love to be part of it, please let us know. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And we
Amy.
can
What
link
I'll
the
do,
links.
yeah, we'll put the links in the show notes. So anyone that wants to participate in Amy's research, and it is really good, cool research, people.
I will
So
be
we'll put
participating.
there you go.
Is
You
it
got Deany already.
anonymized?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, yes, I'll participate.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If you want to read Amy's contribution to that fantastic book that she wrote a chapter in, Curriculum Revolution, you can check it out. It's being sold pretty much all digital platforms, right, Amy?
I believe it's on Amazon. I bought it from
Yep.
Amazon. I'm not sure
Nice
about
one.
anywhere
All
else.
right.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. Anyway, everybody, we'll see you in a fortnight's time. Goodbye.
Thank you.